all out. You're quite a guy. Another time, another place. You and me, baby. The pleasure we could have.
The sensual murderess, ass-kicking in catsuits, high heels, and chokers. The ostentatious fusion of the two greatest spectacles, sex and death, pleasure and pain, Eros and Thanatos. If you want to leave behind the idea that the only way to be violent is to be manly, and you worry your straight male audience will revolt, consider writing someone every straight man is already familiar with. Consider the dominatrix. Note that I am using the term dominatrix a little loosely here. In real life, there is a distinction between highly sexualized violence and actual BDSM iconography. How do I know? Mind your own business. The dominatrix is a violent, often hyper-violent character who is still, unmistakably, a woman. I mean, say what you want about Bayonetta, she's not mannish. Most men are at least passingly familiar with what a dominatrix is, so it's not a far leap to refashion a woman's bedroom violence into action movie violence. But she comes with some baggage. The femininity she displays is specifically the subset of femininity most appealing to men. She's not a nurturer, not a healer, not soft, and rarely cooperative. Her womanliness begins and ends with sexuality. And sexiness creates its own context. There may be loose justification for why she's dressed the way she is. You know, she can't wear armor like a normal person because she needs to leap around, gymnastics being another familiar image of female physical excellence and an excuse to whiz the camera around her body. But much of the time we don't even get that. The movie holds no pretense. She's dressed that way because the audience likes it. The thinking here seems to be that if straight men consider violence the domain of men, and therefore a violent woman an affront to their masculinity, they'll willingly take that blow to their male ego, provided their heterosexual ego is, to speak indelicately, getting stroked. For what does a dominatrix do? Strike? Dominate? Degrade? Yes. But for their partner's own pleasure. It's, at least in part, a performance. There's a reason why your dalliance with a dom is called a scene. The dominatrix as action heroine turns violence into a kind of elaborate pole dance, inoffensive to a man because it's for him. A woman trafficking in male signifiers made acceptable because she does it sexy-like.
Who is she? What is she? I don't know whether to open fire or fall in love.
And of all the characters we're talking about, the dominatrix demands the least empathy of the male audience. An action movie offers a power fantasy, James Bond as a character men want to be. Men don't want to be barbed wire. Men are supposed to look at barbed wire, not walk a mile in her pumps. The dominatrix is most commonly a villain or an anti-hero, and perhaps it should come as no surprise. Bad girls aren't good guys. Now, this is a bit of a subjective statement, but Fury Road doesn't sexualize its women. Let me paint you a picture. A man lives for some indeterminate length of time at the very bottom of a rigid social hierarchy wherein only the man at the top has access to beautiful women. Prior to that, he lived for years alone in the desert. We don't know how long it's been since he's even spoken to a woman. After a thrilling escape, he alone happens upon the 5 women deemed by that society the most beautiful and fertile, the prized breeders, clad in white, cutting off their chastity belts, and spraying each other with a hose. This is how Max meets the wives. Most Hollywood directors would shoot this scene like a wet t-shirt contest. Man of social caste that would never see a beautiful woman naked stumbles upon one or more bathing out of doors? This has been shot hundreds of times. This is every Hot Springs episode of every anime ever drawn. Movie peeping is the essence of the filmic experience, because a man watching a woman bathe is doing the same thing you are doing as an audience member. Looking at naked people who can't see you. The way you traditionally shoot this scene is to lean into the voyeurism. If there's going to be bathing and then a fight, why not sexy bathing and sexy fighting? In Fury Road, Max lusts only for one thing.
Water.
During this scene, Furiosa is fully clothed, and look at how she's framed. Now look at the shots favored for the wives. Long shots, and tight close-ups. As in, their breasts and hips are either filmed at a distance or cropped out of frame. I don't want to overstate things. That framing is not enforced, merely favored. And there's no denying these women are, by conventional standards, beautiful. I mean, for fuck's sake, Zoe Kravitz is in this movie. I'm not, kink-shaming you if you do find this scene erotic, but it seems to me that effort is being expended to downplay the obvious potential eroticism. A chastity belt coming off could easily signal sexual availability.
It is the key to the greatest treasure in all the land.
But this one has teeth. So I'm thinking, I would want that off me too. I feel I'm being asked to walk in the wives' shoes. If what you need to feel okay with a woman holding a gun is some hint that she's doing it to turn you on, Fury Road won't give you that. If you want to see women as sexy bodies before you consider seeing them as humans, Fury Road won't give you that either. That's how Joe sees them. And they left that perspective behind before frame 1, and make one thing clear in their very first line of dialogue.
We're not going back.